Hello everyone, and welcome to a live from the workshop. So, I am here talking to you, and the reason that I'm here talking to you is because I have some news about this week's live from the workshop. Now, my original plan was that I was going to be giving you a custom figure showcase of my updated audio series TARDIS, but unfortunately that's not now going to be coming until the new year. The reasons why are a little bit complicated, but I will do my best to explain. I originally filmed the model before I left Sweden, at which point it wasn't completed, and now I've moved to Sweden, I was planning to show it to you. However, now what's happening is I'm going to get the model shipped out to me so I can complete it and then show you the finished product here in Sweden. I will be adding the finishing touches and any changes to it over the Christmas period, but this obviously means that I can't now show it to you because I would prefer to show it to you when it's finished. So today I will be bringing you a live from the workshop of a Dalek I made recently. It's something that a lot of people have asked me to make before, and now it is finally within my power to make it. Hello everyone, and welcome to another live from the workshop. So today I'm going to be making something that some of you will be familiar with. It is the Mutant Scoop Dalek from Power of the Daleks. However, I'm going to be doing it a little bit differently. Now, to give you a little bit of background, people have asked me to do this before, and I've never done it because I was never really interested in it as an idea, because we have had an official, albeit 3 3/4 inch version of this figure, and lots of other people had already made it as a proper custom, so I didn't really feel like it was something I wanted to do because it had been done already. However, I recently came across, at the time of filming this, a image that showed it behind the scenes, and it showed a couple of interesting features on this, which obviously, having seen it previously in black and white and in official figures, I didn't know about. Firstly, the spheres on it were a much darker blue. And secondly, the mutant, which has always been shown to be green in various customs and the official figures, is actually more of a kind of blackish grey. So that's what I'm going to do is, for this figure, is I'm going to make it more akin to what would have been seen on screen in colour as such. Now, for this, obviously I've just got a standard Dalek. I've already done a little bit of work on this. Basically, the arm is actually just the standard Dalek plunger arm with the plunger cut off, and then I've added a little bit of card around the edge here, where it would be telescopic. I've not extended it, and then the end piece here is actually the dish from the back of an Invasion of Earth Dalek. The dome, obviously people will notice that it looks a little bit different. The reason being is this is actually not the original dome. I've made this, funny enough, from my movie Dalek custom I use for parts, but it's not a huge issue because I can always make up another one of those again. But the dome had to be resprayed, and unfortunately I'd already removed the eye lights. So again, similar to how I've done on a couple of other of my customs, particularly my behind the scenes Which is Familiar Dalek, I've added some spare Davros spheres onto the top as replacement lights, and the first thing we do obviously is paint those yellow. But yeah, so I decided to do this because I actually saw this photo and I've never seen it before, so I posted it to a forum, and then on the Doctor Who Toys forum, a user known as Odd Ood decided to be inspired by this photo to make this version himself. And after looking at his version that he was making, I was actually inspired by his, after he was inspired by me, after me posting the photo, to make one myself. So, thank you to him for inspiring me to do this, or thank you for him for being inspired by me after seeing the photo to inspire me to make it because he's made it. Yes, it's rather confusing. And also a big thank you to Dr. Watt, who gave us both the idea of using the saucer pilot dish for the arm. But, as I said, first things first, I need to get on with painting the new lights. So the first thing I'm going to have to do actually is just dismantle this to make it a bit easier. And here is my finished embryo mutant scoop Dalek, whatever you want to call it. It has several names. So yeah, I'm very pleased with how it's come out. I'm very pleased with the actual embryo bit itself. Very pleased with how it's coming out and dripping over the edge. I decided that the drips would be at no particular angle, as it were, because it meant that I could reposition it up, I could reposition it low, and obviously, you know, it's technically, if it's an embryo sort of thing, then it's technically alive, so you know, its appendages probably would be moving and doing things, but yeah, I'm really pleased with how this has come out. It certainly raises an interesting point that's not necessarily for people that have done this custom before, but it occurred to me that obviously we've had this in a 3 3/4 inch figure, and it's been a classic style Dalek obviously, but with the light domes, and the mutant is green. Now, the thing is, I know for a fact, well, put it this way, even if this photo has only come up online in the last year or so, which I know it hasn't, I know it's been online for years, but assuming that it had, this photo was taken back in the 60s, which means this evidence of this, how this actually looked, has been around since the 60s, and so it's another example of how character options have taken the idea that, yeah, let's make that, but they've not looked into how it's actually made. And to be fair, in all fairness to character options, in all fairness to anyone who's made these before with the green mutant and the lighter globes, I would have, if I'd made this before, I would have done the same thing. So it's not a complaint against them, but it's certainly an observation that it's always worth looking into these things, because we assumed that the mutant was green and that the Dalek had normal light blue spheres, but it turns out that's not the case. I mean, maybe the idea was that the mutant was always supposed to be green, and because it was in black and white, they didn't think, oh, let's not bother making it the right colour. But as I said, it certainly presents an interesting difference to something that we thought for many years we knew exactly how it looked, and it turns out it doesn't. But yeah, if you've got a spare Dalek spare, and you've got some Milliput, which is obviously what this is made out of. This is a great little custom to do, because it doesn't really take all that much work to be able to do it. I mean, if you took, say, I suppose it would be an Emperor's Guard Dalek as a base, what you would need to do essentially is just respray the dome, repaint the spheres, and then build up the arm. And I have to say, whoa, nearly knocking everything over. I have to say that just doing, you know, this little embryo mutant thing on the scoop actually is quite a great way of learning how to work with Milliput. Obviously, you know, I've had a bit more practice before this, but it's certainly a great way for people to start, you know, learning how it works and how it all goes together, and you know how long you need to leave to dry it for, how much you mix it in, and it really is something that is well worth trying if you've never used Milliput before. This might be a great place for you to start using it. But yeah, again, great figure, and again, another one that could very easily be made as an official figure, even if the mutant on the, you know, is literally just more like a blob, you know, rather than it being dripping over the edge. Obviously, you know, they can't put that level of detail, or they could, but they don't put that level of detail into some of their figures at times. But this would be a great figure to see released. You know, I would love to see this. Imagine, this is never going to happen. I appreciate this is never going to happen, but it would be great if, when Power of the Daleks gets released on DVD, there's a special pack that contains the DVD and this as an official figure. It would be such a great thing to do, and it would be such a great collector's piece, and it would sell well. This is the thing that I don't think Character Options and Underground Toys not so much, Character Options definitely, but I don't think they realise how much the fans would like things like this. They seem to use the excuse often that, oh, well, we can't justify making it because there's not enough demand for it. Trust me, there is enough demand for things like this as official figures, and it would be fantastic to see. Anyway, that is my finished Mutant Scoop Dalek. As always, I hope you enjoyed this video. Like, favourite, subscribe, share, it really helps me out a lot. I salute you all, and I will see you with another video very soon.